Presented by Ghostbed.com.
Life on the front lines requires you to step up your game. Owned and operated by former Navy SEAL Sean Matson, CardoMax has designed just the right supplements for you and is offering Drinkin Bros an exclusive offer. Buy one, get one free on your first order. Go to CardoMax.com. Use the promo code DB. That's CardoMax.com, helping you achieve your max. Welcome to Drinkin Bros Fake News. As I said on Ross Patterson Revolution this morning, we're going to give a little buffer with a pre-roll read. That way it gives people time to get into the chat here on the old used tubes, because a lot of you like watching the show versus listening to it. Obviously, all of our shows on our network are on Drinkin Bros podcast page on YouTube, so subscribe. Today's fake news, D'Anthony's got a lot of real news in it. A lot going on in the world this week.
There's a couple things. Yeah. It can be hard to keep up sometimes with all this shit, to be honest.
Man, it's crazy.
Like, we have a truncated timeline, so we, have to decide what does and doesn't make the cut, I guess.
Yeah.
And you want it to be a mixture of information and entertainment, right? Obviously, we're not here to fucking beat a dead horse unless you've got one that you need beaten. I'll beat it. I don't give a shit. Fuck dead horse. I mean, the horse is dead. Why is it such a big deal to beat the goddamn
Let's
thing?
kick this shit out of the horse, dude. For those of you who don't know or might be new to this, so Dan typically writes the news, and I think Coop helps you.
Yep. Well, and he does most of it now.
Yeah, as well. And he's on our other show, Iconoblast. But the wild thing is, he usually does it like the night before, but on a day like today, it's like, dude, do you start with like the crazy shit that's just going on?
Yeah.
Right now? I mean, I'm looking at this right now with this. You know more about this story than I do, because you guys were talking about this on American Party, and I just wanted to ask you about it here. The breaking news on this Haiti thing is that the U.S. military trained the Haiti assassins. No?
Look, so this private contracting firm in Miami, CTU Security, right, hired, I think, 20 of the people involved out of the 28 or so they've identified were Colombians. And of those, I think 11 or 12 are Colombian military. And a portion of those Colombian military people were trained by U.S. forces. Now, there's something called the School of the Americas, right? Mm-hmm. That started down in Panama back in the 70s, I think, maybe in the 60s. And it was used to train paramilitary people to fight against communism in South America, primarily in South Central America. And eventually moved. It also served, I think, as the jungle warfare school for the Vietnam conflict. Maybe part of the Korea one. I don't know about that. But eventually it moved to Fort Benning. Very common for Central and South American special operators, especially, to come through that school. And to also, like, I went to airborne school with like fucking 6 or 12 of these dudes.
Okay.
There were Guatemalan and Honduran dudes and fucking Colombian dudes in my airborne school. So it's not like they were hand-selected, trained by U.S. Special Forces. No, they just came up here and hung out and learned some of our TTPs for a couple of weeks, basically.
Gotcha. Because, this is the top story on MSN.com.
I'm guessing. They didn't say where they were trained, but I know I've actually trained with Colombian dudes before. So, I mean, I'm assuming that's where it is.
Yeah, no, first sentence of the article says some of the former Colombian servicemen arrested last week had previously received U.S. military training. So, yeah, it's almost identical to what you said. But to, the common man, Dan, I read an article like this and you're like, what the fuck? So you put a splashy headline up there like that on MSN, and then what are you hoping is the great result out of this? The grand results? Are you hoping that Biden's going to look into, what is it? Because I haven't heard him say shit on this.
They're great. Who are you talking about? Like the media?
Yeah.
I think they just want to get fucking clicks. They don't give a shit what the result is. If they did, they wouldn't act the way they do.
But what happens next in this? And again, I know you guys have been doing this on American Party. What happens with any of this if they trace it back to the United States?
Well, I mean, nothing. What the fuck could possibly happen? Get out of here.
Because they don't have a military in Haiti, right?
Yeah, I mean, what's the United States going to do? Fucking arrest itself? Shut the fuck up, man. We've been doing dumb shit like that down there forever. Now, you can make that argument if you think that having Colombian soldiers who have, decades-long human rights abuse issues down there, not just with dealing with FARC, but when FARC started to pay off and hire people as civilians to come, process cocaine and shit like that, the government troops didn't fucking do a whole lot of delineating between who was who, right? Mm-hmm. And there was also that weird I can't remember the name of the scandal. There was some scandal where Colombian troops were getting paid by head, like by how many fucking FARC dudes they killed. So they would kill a bunch of civilians and then take them in as dead FARC people. So there's a lot of, you can make the argument that maybe we shouldn't be training assholes globally, which we've been doing, since the Cold War began.
Yeah.
There's probably a good argument for that. I think there's a couple of good arguments. One of them, let's see, the Mujahideen, which is where bin Laden came from. Fucking ISIS trained those guys. They were the sons of Iraq originally. Let's see, FARC.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, look, we've made some mistakes. As you could say, like our entire last 60 years of foreign policy has been one large mistake. But it's not a mistake, right? It's only a mistake from our point of view because we thought we were doing something. The people who are in control of this shit, the military-industrial complex, the people who are fucking billionaires now that never had to actually fight for it, wasn't a mistake to them. And that's what this is, I'm sure. I'm sure that there are fucking plenty of people with a lot of money involved in this shit. 100%.
Yeah, I mean...
And this guy, this fucking former doctor or whatever the fuck, or he's a former reverend that's now a doctor that's had to file bankruptcy as a reverend before, which I don't know what the fuck that even means. Is involved in this, and he's been making all these weird ass videos for years, saying he should be the president of Haiti and blah blah blah. Seems like a patsy to me. Like I can't imagine a guy that crazy who's been that crazy for that long, marshaling not only the resources but the confidence for people to go put their lives on the line for him. I don't believe that.
I don't either. It reminds me of what were they blaming on that cartoon video on YouTube a few years back?
Oh, you mean Hillary Clinton saying that? Well, it wasn't a cartoon. There was some like super anti or weird ass. I don't know if it was anti-Muslim, but it was certainly not okay with them that they tried to blame the Benghazi thing on.
That's it. Yes.
Like twice in 2 days she said it.
Yeah.
Right. Which is an outright lie, obviously.
Yeah. It was the strangest thing, and it was on YouTube, and then they pulled it down from YouTube, but they left it up just long enough for everybody to see it, like, a gajillion people to see it. That's what this seems like, where it's like, what the fuck is actually going on here? It's such a bizarre story. Again, I know you guys cover it on APP, so like, I thought I'd ask, because Jesus Christ, that'll lead us into the next one, which is the chaos in Cuba. Both of these stories, in my opinion, aren't getting that much coverage. I mean, the MSM one today for the other one was like, oh, well, the U.S. military trained them. Finally, you have something to kind of hitch a headline on, I guess. But this chaos in Cuba here with the Cuban police that are patrolling the capital of Havana following protests against food shortages and inflation. This was originally that they were protesting COVID, right?
Not...
Well, that's what the media said.
Yeah, the left in the country tried to make the association that Cuban people were mad that they couldn't get access to health care or vaccines or whatever the case was, right?
Right.
And that might be true, right? But they tried to frame it as they're rioting for that. No, they're carrying American flags around, dude.
Yeah.
The American flag, when you see that show up, people in fucking Taiwan and places like that, right, that are fighting for their independence still, waving an American flag around, aren't waving it around because of how good our fucking vaccine infrastructure is, you stupid motherfucker. They're doing it because that flag stands for something. Self-determinism, which is what every human being on Earth wants, right? And the fact that they tried to frame it that way is, I don't think it's necessarily nefarious. It's just opportunistic, right? I mean, they're just trying to make their point more... I got a text yesterday, actually, from some asshole. Let me see if I still got it. I may have deleted it.
Pull it up. I'm going to crack open a beer here this afternoon. I mean, this is a day. We're having a day here with the news.
I think I deleted it, but... Oh, no, here we go. Nope, I did. I deleted it. So anyway, some asshole texted me like, hey, we've got a COVID vaccine for you. Come by this middle school tomorrow anytime during the day, and we'll give it to you. I'm like, where'd you get my fucking phone number, guy?
Yeah.
And since he had already put an address in there, I'm like, I guess he didn't answer for like an hour. And I guess I said, okay, Chris, I'll just come get it. I'll get that information myself in person tomorrow then. Then he answered me like, oh, so the public voter file.
Okay.
Which apparently is released to like anybody can just get it, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah. But I don't know how. So they say they get the public voter file, which I don't know because whatever. Then he says we check public records and try to find your contact information. I'm like, all right, cool, man. Sweet. Sweet. Thank you for letting me know that. That's probably an issue.
Yeah, yeah.
At any rate, this whole thing with Cuba is fucking stupid. It's these people have been struggling for decades.
Yeah.
Right? And we have people like this 1619 cunt, right? That's in the news again because she said some more stupid shit. She's talking about how, or I think a couple of years ago, she said Cuba was the most like racially tolerant place in the Western Hemisphere. Like, oh, cool, yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you go down there? Check it out, you fucking idiot.
Take a cigarette boat down there.
Yeah, I mean, when people start to protest because they can't get adequate health care and the solution is to round them up and throw them into prison, that doesn't seem like a good system to me.
Yeah.
But hey, what do I know?
The other one that I thought was wild this week regarding Cuba was the guy from Homeland Security getting on TV saying,
"Oh, Mayorkas, yeah, I worked for that guy back in the day."
What a fucking
Real
turd!
Twat.
Jesus
It's
Christ!
It's like that guy. Everybody's everybody's fucking working hard to get somewhere, and then he gets somewhere and turns around and goes, "All right, we're all full now, folks."
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thanks a lot, Mayorkas. You fucking piece of shit. That guy should blow his brains out of the back of his head. Anybody that fucking gets something great and their first instinct is to keep it for themselves and defend it against other people like that, you're a piece of shit, man. You're a fucking cunt.
Yeah, so he gets on and says, "Don't come here. Definitely don't come here. We're going to turn you back," and everything else. But that's not what the Biden administration said at the beginning of the year regarding Mexico and the border, right? They were like, "Great, we'll take you. It's open. We're the We're the Ellis Island of the world now. It's at the border." But you won't let Cubans in because we know which way they're going to vote in the election.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's that. Maybe I honestly don't know if that's the case or not. I mean, there might be the powers that be at some point that believe that and then try to influence people in other ways. I can't imagine that. I mean, I guess I do have a sticker right here that says all politicians are cunts, but that's a new leap right there, right? I mean, this trying to get more of a certain type of people in so you can win votes in the future. That's weird to me, especially when it's two groups of people that need our fucking help.
I don't think either country is going to vote that way anyways. I mean, coming from where they came from, the other part about this...
That was the problem in Iraq and Afghanistan, by the way. We were trying to explain to people what voting was, and they didn't understand it. Like, they have votes in those places. They have for years, and they have votes in Cuba, too. But what was Castro winning the vote by? Like 91% or some shit? Every year he would win? Something like that. Like, that's not a real vote, obviously. So people don't take it seriously. It's like, oh, I just tell the leader of my area who I'm going to vote for, and they cast it for me. It's usually like that, so it's hard to get them motivated to believe that their vote is something that's real. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the other odd thing about this Cuba situation is most Cubans will tell you, we love our country. We don't like the government and, being under a communist regime all these years, but fuck, man, Cuba's beautiful. We actually love our country. We just want it to be better.
Yeah.
Versus like, hey, we're escaping fucking gangs and everything else. Like, they're just trying to escape their government that sucks because of shit like this, with food shortages and inflation and everything else. So, but most of them are like, dude, I didn't want to leave in the fucking first place. But, it gets to a point where you got to give your kids medicine and food, and what the fuck are you going to do?
Yeah. I mean, look, you don't see a whole lot of dissent on the island of Cuba. There have been some major events over the years. One in the 60s that didn't work out so well, right? But you don't see, like if a Cuban police officer were to shoot an unarmed person, there's not going to be riots the next day, right?
Right.
So the fact that this happened here and now, I don't know what the motivation for it is. Maybe it's just a release. Like this was a reason to go fucking wild. You know what I mean? Because people need that sometimes, whether it's blowing off steam after work or fucking sometimes it's a goddamn riot, frankly. But I don't think because of our last, 18 to 36 months in America or so, I think people might be a little bit naive to how it is in the rest of the world. Like they think this is normal. Like sometimes there's civil strife. People just go out and fucking raise hell and blah, blah, blah. Yes, they do, but not without consequences. You did it here without any consequences. And I have mixed feelings about that with the whole, like, everybody's talking about this insurrection bullshit, these 300 fucking dum-dums versus the billions of dollars of damage done and federal buildings burned down, police stations burned down. Like, are we really not juxtaposing this in an accurate way? That seems weird to me because it just happened, but I think people are just really naive right now.
And it's not just BLM that you're talking about. It's Antifa as well, where they're fucking destroying government buildings up and down the West Coast, and nobody's saying a goddamn word about it.
BLM was praising Cuba, I think on their Instagram earlier today or yesterday, about how thanking them for giving safe harbor to Assata Shakur, who was involved in the murder of a police officer.
Yeah.
Back in the day. I mean, these people are fucking pieces of shit. By the way, even a lot of people have said recently that they don't support BLM, right? The organization. A lot of really influential people on the black left side.
Yeah.
I think don't want to be associated with that shit anymore. And it's because once you get down to it, if you really want something to fucking change, then you have to at some point realize that you have to break some eggs or whatever it is, but you at least have to look at things in a way that makes sense. You can't, it's not like faddish wokeness anymore. You know what I mean? I'm not doing it for social credit. I'm doing it because what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's like the emperor's clothes or something. Everybody's standing around pretending to lift something heavy over their head, and you put your arms down and you're like, this is stupid. Why the fuck are we doing this? You know what I mean? I think a lot of people are waking up to that bullshit. And maybe this Cuba thing is going to be the catalyst for that, because some fringe folks over the last, I don't know, fucking 6 months or so have said some weird shit praising Cuba and their government. Very odd. But is it that odd? I mean, people have been walking around with Che Guevara shirts on for fucking 25 years now.
Yeah.
And that guy murdered gay people. Anytime he got his hands on one, he murdered it. So the fuck are we doing? You know what I mean? It's all very bizarre to me.
And the Miami mayor down there compared the situation to the war in Afghanistan, which was obviously a clear victory for everyone involved there. I'm being sarcastic, but you spent some time with him before this, before these statements. What's his sitch in real life?
I mean, he seems like a politician to me, to be honest. He's a nice guy. He makes the claim that he's ended veteran homelessness in Miami, right? So I'm still kind of looking into that. But he does seem like he's got his wits about him, at least. I mean, I don't know about this statement about it being there should be some impending military action in Cuba. Like, what gives us the right to do that? Mm-hmm. Cuban people have arms and legs and fists just like we do. Start fighting, and then we'll come help you. But we're not coming again unless you're already fighting.
And we could have done this for 50 years at this point.
Well, we tried a bunch. I mean, but, it was the CIA. The CIA should be fucking disbanded, by the way. It should be completely done away with. It is an entirely useless organization. All they do, think about the way the CIA was developed in the first place. Donovan and some of these assholes, it was all fucking white dudes that had no military experience for the most part. That, and this is the OSS, by the way, that were just in Ivy League schools, and business leaders that worked that did deals with government said, hey, we should get these guys and these guys and these guys. What infrastructure existed? There was no intelligence community before that. So what infrastructure existed for that apparatus to be constructed? It was wealthy businessmen that used their fucking personal relationships with people in government to make more money.
Great movie.
What movie are you talking about?
Great movie.
The Good Shepherd.
Oh, yeah, that is a good movie. Yeah. It's obviously there's some fucking artistic license.
Yeah.
But the general sense is that is exactly what happened. All these men were recruited out of Ivy League schools, and back in the day, your parents are rich, you go to an Ivy League school, you get an internship and then a job, and that's it, right? That's just how it worked back then, and maybe it still does now. But the entire CIA was developed as that, right? So you're telling me that they have an interest solely in our national security? Of course not. There have been people with their fucking thumb on the pulse of business for years, using that to profit, not only in the military-industrial complex, but in manipulating markets and all kinds of other shit. That shit should not exist anymore. The CIA should be fucking launched into space and blow that building up and, I don't know, fucking put a farm there or something.
Where is it? Is it in D.C.?
It's in Virginia.
Yeah, that's right. Last question regarding this Cuba thing. Has AOC been down there at all?
No. I don't. Isn't she Puerto Rican? I don't think they like Puerto Ricans in Cuba.
Just down to,
or is it Dominicans in Cuba?
Yeah,
or, Dominicans and
I'm not
Ricans?
sure.
I don't know. Somebody doesn't like somebody.
She keeps poking her head around the. So like, let's get down there. Let's make a statement on it.
Yeah, I mean, what? Can you imagine that?
No, I can't, Dan. I actually can't.
And this is Suarez again. I don't dislike the guy. I don't really know him that well, but.
Would you guys have dinner together?
It was a party.
Okay.
But just like for him to discuss things about whatever the fuck, but
veteran issues, right?
Some of it was, yeah. So he talks about Noriega in Panama. That's a really bad example. Because by we I mean the Central Intelligence Agency, helped to assassinate General Torrejo, who was a dictator down there, and they would put Noriega in power and just had him doing all kinds of fucked up shit for years, and then we arrested him for it. Right? We had to launch into Panama for it. They weren't a threat to us. We did that to clean up our own mess. So that one doesn't make sense. The Kosovo thing he mentions, that's a good point. I mean, Slobodan Milosevic was murdering people like it was going out of style over there. Something had to be done over there. But either way, I don't think what I haven't heard, and it's hard to tell if it's happening, to be honest, because where's the media and all this, but are people getting jailed and killed down there right now during these protests? Because you would expect that out of Cuba. Frankly.
Yeah.
I haven't heard a goddamn word about that.
I haven't either. And I haven't seen any videos on social media or anything like that. So I'm not sure what's happening. What I had heard was the Cuban government was preventing them from getting on social media, and there might have been some form of shutdown as far as Facebook and Twitter is concerned.
It's always possible.
Yeah. So I don't know how much information we are going to get about it. And it's weird because it's so close to the United States that you're like
90 miles.
Yeah. And we're getting nothing out of it. So fuck, man, who knows? This next one hits close to home because it is our home, Dan. Texas lawmakers flee the state to avoid doing their jobs. More than 50 Democrats left Austin on Monday, skipping town to delay voting on divisive voting reforms. The exodus was the second time that Democratic lawmakers have staged a walkout on the voting overhaul, which they claim will make it harder for minorities to vote. Hours after they took off, Governor Wheelchair told an Austin TV station that he would simply keep calling special sessions throughout the next year if necessary. He also threatened to arrest the Democrats, saying as soon as they come back in the state of Texas, they will be arrested. They will be cabined inside the Texas Capitol until they get their job done. Is that possible? Is that real? Mm-hmm. So you could arrest them on this?
Yeah, I mean, I don't actually know what for though. Are you arresting someone for contempt? Because, for example, if you get subpoenaed to Congress and you don't show up, then you can be held in contempt, and you can be arrested for that for sure. Mm-hmm. So I guess that must be, unless there's something in the Texas Constitution that says that lawmakers have to do X or Y happens. I don't know. I actually don't know the answer to that.
Yeah, so look, the Democrats' decision to flee Washington is aimed at ratcheting up pressure on Joe Biden and Congress to act on voting at the federal level. Democratic States Rep, good old Trey Martinez Fisher, said, "This is a now or never sitch for our democracy. We're holding the line in Texas. We've left our jobs. We've left our families. We've left our homes, because there is nothing more important than voting rights in America." I'm sure you're not staying at a Holiday Inn up there or anything. You're probably just homeless, right? The way this statement makes it sound is that he's homeless and he's taken his entire family out to live in the streets of Washington until something gets done.
Right.
But the bills that the Democrats are protesting would outlaw 24-hour polling places, ban ballot drop boxes used to deposit mail ballots, and empower partisan poll watchers. I hope they're enjoying their tax funder paid vacation is all I have to say about that.
Yeah, bullshit. I mean, what's the purpose of each one of these tenets is what I would ask, right? I mean, I know people are fucking losing their mind, and it is interesting to cover the fact that these Dems have fled the state in order to avoid having to vote on this shit, or at least having a present quorum or whatever. But has anybody actually taken the time to go down the bullet list of the things on this bill?
No.
And tell me why?
No. Dude, I've had people hit me up on Twitter who have either come across the show or stumbled across it, and why do you want this? Why do you want?
I want to
these?
hear it from both sides. I want to hear.
Same.
I want to hear Republicans tell me why a 24-hour poll drop thing isn't secure or whatever claim they're making. I mean, it makes the drop box makes sense to me, because one thing we did see a lot in the last election are people collecting a bunch of people's votes and then taking them in, right? So like elderly people and shit like that. And in a lot of cases, as Veritas showed, people were influencing the elderly to change their votes and shit like that.
Right.
Now, look, that's not gonna you're not gonna be able to affect a vote this big with random bullshit like that. It's just not. But you want the election to be secure. So I guess that one makes sense. But some of this stuff, I want to be. I don't think anybody's made a case for this, because immediately it went to a part. It's like gun shit. So the right thinks that any kind of gun law is a suppression of gun ownership rights, and the left thinks that any kind of voting law is a suppression of voting rights, right? But that's not intrinsically true.
No.
Right? Some people should not have access to nuclear weapons.
Right.
Why would you? Right? So that premise doesn't make any sense. I haven't been convinced by either one of these sides that the things they're saying make sense. And I don't think anybody's even fucking talking about that.
I actually engaged with somebody on Twitter, and then it turned dark pretty quickly. People were losing their fucking mind. By the way, Jacob Nickel is saying they're spending over $10,000 a day on hotels and food while in DC.
Sweet.
Not that that's a huge shock either. So for me, the voting rights is pretty simple. I think you should have an ID. In every single state, you should have a fucking identification. I know on these mail-in ballots, that's part of it too, where they want you to scan in your thing. There's a barcode on the back of all of our fucking IDs now. I mean, we swipe it everywhere we go. You and I travel a lot to we've been to almost every fucking state at this point.
Right.
Living in North Carolina, there was none. So I remember voting there, and they were super like, oh, no, we don't want to see your ID, sir. We're good. And they almost seemed afraid to ask. And I was like, well, how do you know I'm living where I say I am, right? Because at that point, I had moved to another house there within Wilmington, and I did have a ballot come to the old house. I was like, somebody could have grabbed it and fucking filled it out if they wanted to, especially during an election that was as contentious as the last one. I'm not really sure what the fucking argument is for not having some form of identification. You need it for everything in this life.
Well, I don't think anybody's making an argument against having identification. The argument that the left is making that black people aren't capable of getting their own identification. That is what they've said repeatedly.
But right? For them, right? So I just...
No, I'm just saying. It's racist as shit.
Yes.
Like, I'm pretty sure a black person can figure out how to get a goddamn identification.
Well, there was that one fucking study that was like 84% of them were like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, we have driver's license. Like, if you want to buy booze or fucking cigarettes, anything in this world, you want to travel, you want to drive a car, you need a fucking, some form of identification. Yeah. I will never understand that one. I know that that's cooked in there as well. But it's a state-by-state case.
Right.
The other thing with leaving these ballot boxes out and everything else, like, it gives people the opportunity to do something fucked up. And it's like, do you really want to waste police and all that other shit by, like, oh, well, you got to stand guard on this ballot box for the next 30 days and spend a bunch of money there? I don't really fucking get it.
Well,
because
there's other stuff too, like for mail-in ballots, they're basically asking for multiple types of authentication now. So you either when you get your mail-in ballot, or when you turn it in, or on the mail-in ballot itself somewhere, you have to provide the driver's license or state ID number, the last 4 digits of your social, and or a statement that you don't have one of those things. So even then, it's still not requiring that stuff. It's just saying they're trying to find a 2-factor authentication solution to this stuff.
Right.
And then with the box and stuff, they're trying to maintain chain of custody, right?
Yeah.
They don't want to have a box of votes sitting. I mean, we just saw it in New York. Sometimes it's a mistake. It's not even always on purpose. They just fucking counted the wrong goddamn things because they intermixed a bunch of bullshit.
Correct.
It happens. That shit like that it's easy to happen. Think about yourself. How many times you've gotten 2 things mixed up, and then think about fucking 150 million of them.
Oh,
of
dude.
Like, it's a goddamn nightmare.
So in my home county of Fulton County in Georgia, they just did an audit of Fulton County, just that one particular county, because it encompasses like downtown Atlanta and the suburbs and all that other shit. And they were like, we only found 226 discrepancies where it was the wrong, like a twice counted ballot or something else. And all I kept thinking about this was, if you applied that to a small town like where we were from in Wilmington, and we were going to run for school board and all that shit when we were there, you're only looking at like 3,000 votes to win most of these local positions. Not a lot of people realize that. We did have a listener who said, hey, dude, I did the same thing in New York after listening to your show, and I won. I got on the school board, and he goes, I was shocked at how little votes you actually needed. That's one of these issues for me personally, like as a repube in this world. So a lot of these things I agree with. Look, the 24-hour thing, I didn't know existed, to be honest with you.
To be honest, I mean, if it starts,
it didn't.
It didn't.
It's from COVID.
Yeah, if it's if that exists during the 2-week early voting period that we have here in Texas, and then for election day itself, then why not? We can afford 2 weeks of armed guards.
Sure. Yeah.
To make sure that people can actually get their fucking vote in.
Yeah.
Like the fact that voting day, whatever the fuck it is, isn't a national holiday where you don't have to work and shit like that is maddening to me. Like, why the fuck would that not be the case?
Wouldn't that be the easiest solution?
Yeah. You at least get, by federal law, you at least get a half day, so you have half of your day to fucking go vote. Why the fuck would that not be the case? If it's so goddamn important, why aren't these pussy-ass representatives from Texas just coming back and saying, hey, let's make it Texas voting day. Everybody gets a day off. That way anybody fucking, this whole issue of not being able to get in there is mitigated by probably 70-80% at that point.
You just made Juneteenth a fucking federal holiday. Yeah. Why wouldn't you make it for voting in this country? It does not make any fucking sense. So, like, for me personally, these are a lot of the problems that I have with this shit. If voting is so important, why wouldn't you get a fucking ID and all that shit and a fucking time limit? Like, I don't understand that either. Like, you know what day it is? It's been the same fucking day for what, 200 years?
I don't know when it started as the first Tuesday of November, but it's been like that for a minute. As long as I've been alive, for sure.
Same. It's Bob, you know the answer to this, I'm sure. It's been like fucking 200 years.
That might straight up be in the Constitution or a founding document.
It's possible, yeah.
Like, it's pretty old.
And there's other issues with this thing that at least people from the left see, which is part of the bill expands the areas where poll watchers are allowed to go, right? And it adds security cameras and stuff like that. They're worried that people are going to be intimidated. To be honest, is that really, has a progressive voter ever gone into a fucking voting booth and been intimidated by somebody that they despise, right? There's no way that's happening. Two, if you put the security cameras up there, if you see somebody trying to intimidate somebody else, that person goes to fucking prison. Like, if you're trying to interfere with somebody exercising their right to vote, you go to jail. Fuck you. Like, you cannot, fuck that shit. That cannot be tolerated ever. That's one of those line in the sand things like pedophiles. Right, the institution of voting is too important to allow it to be abused in that way by anybody.
Right,
everybody has to. It's mutually assured destruction. Like, yeah, take your shot. You might win that one vote, but you're fucking going to jail, bitch. It's got to be like that, in my opinion.
The other part about this too is like, and I'm going to use North Carolina as an example because I thought when we moved to Texas and I voted in this last election, I felt totally safe and secure, and they checked that motherfucker like 9 times. And I was like, all right, great. All these votes are real. I have no problem with whatever the decision is in the state of Texas. Now, North Carolina, they have another law where if you're supporting another candidate, you have to be 100 yards from the actual...
If you're wearing something or holding a sign or something like that. Yeah.
Like, fucking ban that, dude. Jesus Christ. Yeah. That, to me, is some form of intimidation, or at least trying to get into somebody's mind before they walk in there and do it. You can't ban that.
You can't fucking find a different T-shirt to wear that day, brother. Like, really? You're that excited about fucking Donald Trump that you just had to wear his shirt into the fucking thing? Like, good. I'm glad that you feel good about expressing yourself, but, you know, it's not always appropriate. Like, your right to swing your fist ends at somebody else's face. And if there's any possibility that shit negatively affects somebody on voting day. Any other day, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But on that day, when they're exercising that right, that's like fucking it's like laughing at a funeral. Like, why? It's just inappropriate to do that shit. But I mean, look, people are fucking stupid too. They don't care about that. All these people think they're like fucking warriors in some kind of goddamn political holy war right now. No, you're just some fuckface that's being used so other people could get richer. Fuck that shit.
And the other thing you were talking about earlier about the two-factor identification process, that is for everything we do in this goddamn life, and I hate it. Somebody who's tech challenged or hates technology as much as me. Yes, it does, but
there's a reason that it's on everything now. It's because it fucking works. Yeah, and that's why they put it in the bill.
And even going to, I was talking about the AEW. I'm part of the AEW Nation now. I'm all in. It's way better than WWE. Took my child to it last night to get my fucking tickets off of Ticketmaster. Yeah, was a two-factor identification, and a
nightmare.
Yes, but you're right. I guess it does work.
Yeah, it fucking works almost every single time. Like to be honest, you would have to be able to compromise somebody's entire life, like their information, their phone, and the fucking login to whatever the fuck, like their face. So at that point, it's a little beyond technology. You know what I mean? You need a gun for that shit.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it works, is all I'm saying.
What were we going to say, Bob?
Our guest, the baseball writer from the other day, was bitching about that too, because he's like fucking 80. And he's like, I can't go to a Rays game because I don't know how to use my phone.
That dude, he reminded me of one of those Muppets that sit up top talking shit. I don't remember their names, but
Statler Waldorf,
but like on heroin.
Yeah.
He was real sleepy during that interview. Knows a lot about baseball though. I love his books.
Yeah, they're great.
He's coming out with one soon about. I think it's actually co-written with Bobby Valentine. So you can imagine.
Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah, dude. All the stories. You can imagine what that one's going to be.
That's awesome.
Those are the people you should be writing about. Bobby Valentine.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about how Michelle Obama became first lady. I know how. She fucked Barack. Yeah. Fuck out of here, man. That's not impressive to me. Although she was his boss at some point, which is pretty fucking funny.
Yeah. I'm sure she's fucking sitting on that grudge.
And I don't dislike her, by the way. I'm just
Me neither.
I'm just saying it's not that compelling of a fucking story. Yeah. I want to hear about Bobby Valentine or Jim Leland smoking heaters and the fucking, like you know how I used to palm it back in the day and then try to blow it. Everybody fucking know. One, you stink, you stupid fuck. And two, smoke isn't see-through. It's a little transparent, I guess. Or, God damn. Opaque. That's the word I was looking for. It's just funny. I love that shit.
Yeah, we have nothing against Big Mike here on the show, okay? Michelle Obama is fine. It's I don't care. She's probably super pissed. If you got a real book out of her, she would be like, "Motherfucker, I should have been president." You know, you worked for me, dude. And now
she does seem like the smarter of the two, to be honest. But
here we are. You can be smarter by getting a smarter mattress. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. 30% off everything in the entire store, and just because their IT department is not taking it down. Use the 4th of July specials that are still up there. I said it, Rich. I'm not taking it back. I don't care. They're still up, those bundle packages. So go on there and get it now. A couple listeners hit me up earlier. They were talking about they'd bought mattresses from Failure to Stop. That show will be live tomorrow with Eric Tanzi and Mike the Cop. And they were like, yo, these 3D Matrix mattresses are the shit. I'm like, fuck, man. Everybody's got these goddamn things. So go on there and use the deals, dude. Get yourself a new mattress. Sheets, pillows. The topper is new. It's amazing. As always, they got a 36-month pay-as-you-go program, no interest there, which you can couple together with all of those deals and walk out of there with a mattress for about $35 a month. If you got decent credit, by the way, don't come with a $550. All right. Go to ghostbed.com/Drinkin Bros today. Next up, 13% of Americans aren't working because they make enough money from unemployment, which is awesome. According to a recent Morning Consult poll, around 1.8 million Americans have turned down jobs because of unemployment benefits. American businesses have they've been struggling with this labor shortage. You and I saw it firsthand in Vegas. Vegas was the worst, man. Now, Vegas is open, and it's rad, and it's still Vegas. So I don't want to shit on that city because it's a blast, and it's still fun. However, they just don't have enough people working there in all the restaurants and bars to where you're like, what the fuck is going on? I have a theory on this, Dan, and I think it's because a lot of these people, out of this 13% that we're talking about, a lot of these people have never had unemployment in their entire life. Because when you grow up, your parents should teach you to be like, hey, dude, got to be responsible, get a job, take care of yourself, don't live off the government. And then once they got a little taste and they were like, wait a minute, this is right around the same money I was making at my job. So why do I have to go back to my job?
Right.
That's the danger of this. And you and I actually discussed this a year and a half ago when the pandemic first started. I said, dude, when we get out of this shit, watch. This is what's going to happen because people haven't had it before.
There's a lot worse things than that are going to happen. I mean, look, this is a problem with getting people back to work for sure. And by the way, just for context, Morning Consult, the poll here is rated by 538. They give them a B for accuracy and shit like that, but they also have a plus 2.9 Democratic lean to them, right? Which means that's one of the higher ones that exist in all the polls. So this isn't like some fucking far right wing trying to criticize any of the shit. It's just data, okay? No. At any rate, the bigger issue, or I suppose it's a similarly sized issue, is that rent's coming due, right? All these motherfuckers, most of the fucking rental properties used to be owned by small mom and pop organizations, and that's still a lot of money, right? They probably had a net worth of $5 to $10 million. Because if you own 5 or 6, those buildings cost a lot of money. It's like $2 million for the smaller ones. And you're renting that shit out and you haven't been getting paid for a while. Well, that rent's coming due, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to cause a fucking crash.
Yeah.
Now, we already know over the last 25 years or so, home ownership in the middle class has dropped from like 60, I think it was 60% or 64% down to like 46% now. Most people are renting.
Yep.
Not a plurality, but the majority of the middle class is now renting. And that's these people. It's these 1.8 million people. It's 13% of our economy. Everybody always talks about the unemployment rate. It's not a great measure if somebody can just... Unemployment rate only counts people who are actively looking for work now, right?
Yeah.
Or being forced to by unemployment benefits. But once you leave... When you stop getting unemployment benefits and you aren't looking for work, you're considered to have left the market. So you don't count towards those numbers anymore, but you're still a fucking person that doesn't have a goddamn job.
Yeah.
Right? So 13% of Americans right now, regardless of what the fucking unemployment rate is, aren't even trying to work. You know what I mean? These are people that should be working that aren't.
They're not. And everywhere we go, like, and we run into people with small businesses in particular, that's the worst problem they're having right now is they're like, dude, I can't get anybody to work for us. And at a small business, you need it. And then you're paying unemployment benefits on top of it. Because a lot of people think, all right, great, I'm just going to file unemployment and that's it. It doesn't affect the business. No, it does. There's a tax in there that the business has to pay. So, help your small businesses in your community here stay alive. Even if the waits are a little longer, we're going to shout one out today. PureJerkyCo.com. Austin company, great jerky. They send some into the show, and they give a lot to veteran charities and things like that. But so help the small businesses in your area, because chances are they're having a hard time, not because they're bad businesses or people don't want to go there. It's they can't get anybody to fucking work there, dude. Michael, fucking North Carolina, Broken Michael. It's the same thing. It's just like, dude, everywhere I go, I keep hearing the same thing. But yeah, dude, once you get that first check, and then it just keeps coming back and coming back and coming back. You're like, maybe I just don't have to go back to work.
Well, Nevada extended their benefits to September. Oof. Yeah, which is Nevada, by the way. If you've never been there, if you've never been to Vegas, it's not all Las Vegas, but even in the other bigger cities like Reno and shit, it is a service industry economy.
Yeah.
Like most people that live there work in the service industry somewhere, and those motherfuckers aren't going back to work, which it's not just about the local economy suffering, right? It's about all of these fucking businesses are going to end up collapsing at some point.
Yeah.
If they don't have people to work there, then people will stop going there. I don't understand why the governor of Nevada extended it to September. That is wild as shit to me that they did that shit. I mean, he's an asshole, but fuck, man, that's really stupid.
And I realize Las Vegas doesn't run all of Nevada's shit, but like, dude, for tourism, and that's so much money coming in, and you don't want people to have a negative experience about. Like, I kept thinking about when we got back from that McGregor fight, like, what would you say if that was your first trip to Vegas? You're like, well, it's fun. There's a lot of cool shit to do. However, I had to wait 35 minutes for a fucking beer.
Yeah. Or fucking 35 minutes for an Uber to go, 0.4 of a mile away, but you have to cross busy streets and it's hot as fuck, so you don't want to do it. Like, for real, it's
taxi drivers.
Yeah.
I mean, that was brutal. Yeah, man. So
there's 3.08 million people in Nevada and 2.267 in Clark County, which is where Vegas is. So maybe they can't speak for the state.
Maybe, man. I know presidents, when they go there, the backdoor trick is they go down late at night into the basement where all the hotel workers are, and they'll talk to them directly because they want those union votes for all those people. So maybe it is, man. I don't know. Next up, sponsor-wise for us, is CardoMax.com. You heard it at the top. Energy intensifier. Let's get all jacked up and run through a fucking wall. Pre-workout, dude. That's my go-to in the afternoons, dude. Energy-wise, pop a little in some water, and I'm on my way. No carbs, no sugars, but a whole shit ton of excellence. Lasts longer than 6-hour energy, and it's amazing. This is our buddy Sean Matson, former Navy SEAL. I think Sean wishes he was still one. You know,
I mean, he's definitely doing challenges that only a bored person would do. I'm not running anywhere in a fucking bomb suit.
No, not at all. But it comes in this little liquid packet. It's super fucking easy. Right now, you get to buy one, get one free. Try CardoMax today. You won't be disappointed. CardoMax is offering Drinkin' Bros listeners an exclusive offer. Buy one, get one free on your first order. Go to CardoMax.com. Use the promo code DB. CardoMax.com. Promo code DB will get you a buy one, get one. The blue raspberry and the pink lemonade are my faves. So get one of each of those, because there's 15 in each bag, by the way, in case you're wondering. So boom, you're good to go.
They're not stingy with it.
No.
For sure.
No, it's great. Unfortunately, next up, Jussie Smollett. Is he using a French pronunciation on that, Bob? Do we have any confirmation of that? Or is it Smollett?
It's a hard T, yeah.
Okay.
Americans don't pronounce any French words right.
All right, well.
So you got to go with the hard T.
I mispronounce half the shit I say every fucking day, so who knows? He's back in court. I wonder what his legal bills are. Jussie Smollett is back in court on Wednesday, facing renewed charges over his alleged 2019 hate crime incidents. This thing is going to go on for years and years and years. As you know, in 2019, he claimed that he was attacked by two masked men wearing MAGA hats who were using racist and homophobic insults as they beat him coming out of a subway.
Yeah, and then they poured bleach on him.
Allegedly.
And then throw a noose around his neck. Now, it turns out it was two brothers. Where were they, from Kenya or some shit?
Yeah,
I don't remember.
I forget which country in Africa, but he coaxed them into doing it. There were extras on the show on which is now canceled.
Yeah,
on what fucking it was on Fox. Empire was the name of it.
Empire.
Yeah.
Was it on Fox? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he was trying to allegedly, according to those guys, he was trying to raise his profile because he was unhappy with his role on the show.
Well, he wanted more money in a contract renegotiation.
Yeah. And didn't he use like a fucking check to pay them or some stupid shit like that? I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was something dumb.
Well, they found the footage inside of like an Ace Hardware where they were buying rope to fashion into a noose and everything else related with it. You and I, the second this story came out, we're both like, this isn't true.
Yeah, like that shit that got sprayed on, what was it, LeBron James' gate or something like that? Like, come on, man.
Dude.
Nobody fucking believes that shit anymore.
I don't know. It disappeared. Nobody said a word about it. And it was like, I know where he lives in Brentwood. Every fucking house has security cams there. That's crazy to me. The actor's maintained his innocence, and this new trial is nothing more than a dog and pony show. Look, I wonder if he's going to see actual time for this. Has enough time passed in between? We're looking at 2.5 years now, somewhere in there.
Right.
Close, because if I remember correctly, this story was in the winter because it was minus 18. I remember that detail very well because I was like, huh? Nobody in Chicago's even outside in that bullshit.
Right.
So I wonder now if enough time has passed where he's pissed off everybody enough where they're like, hey, dude, we're going to fucking convict you from this.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you convict him at the time, it seems like he's a martyr. But if you let it happen now, no one really cares anymore.
Right?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's kind of where I lean on this. And I think everybody, because even the cast was pissed off and all that shit. So, like, In my opinion, that's what ended that show.
I'm sure they're pissed now that their show's gone.
Yeah.
Shit.
Because he fucking ruined it. And that was a lot of money everybody was making over there on good old Fox.
How many episodes of that show existed?
It was 5 seasons, I believe.
It was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge.
Dude, it was massive.
Well, that's not really what I'm asking.
No, me neither. But
I want to know how many exact episodes.
Oh, you're wondering to get into syndication? They made it. Yeah, they made it to syndication. And I think that was the final goal with that last season, to be honest with you, was just to get it.
It's at 103.
Yeah. So
obvious.
They're in.
Yep.
They're into syndication, but people on the show weren't fucking amped, obviously, and it kind of divided the set. And then the viewers were like, fuck this shit, we're out of here.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, congratulations, Jussie. Best of luck on this new trial. I have a feeling it's not going to go that well. Next up, we got Decked. I'm wearing their hat today, actually. Shout out to Decked for sending me a nice new cap. I appreciate it. Look, if you own a truck, you know exactly what this is. It's essentially the greatest toolbox in the world for your pickup truck. Typically, these are pretty pricey, but Decked is offering free shipping to all of our listeners out there, and that is a big deal. Why? These fucking things weigh like 200 pounds. No lie. We just put them in our trucks here at work. Somebody was hitting us up in the chat room saying that D'Anthony's got a Cherokee, and they know that. They know that he's got a Cherokee, yes. But because of production and all the equipment we travel with, we have probably 4 or 5 pickup trucks here at work, 2 just for that. So we installed it across the street from our place. It was super easy. It was like a half hour. And these things are amazing, dude. They never offer any deals. So the fact that they're even on the show is fucking crazy in its own right. But we're stoked about it. But if you don't want shit rattling around the back of your pickup truck, or you just want to keep your stuff secure when you go out to parties or events, congratulations, this will do it. And then their toolboxes are amazing, dude. You can fit everything in there. And that Decked drawer system that pulls all the way out, put everything in that motherfucker. It's the best, dude. If you own a pickup truck, it makes organizing, accessing, and protecting and securing everything that much easier. Get your Decked drawer system at decked.com/drinkinbros and get free shipping. That's decked.com/drinkinbros for free shipping on your Decked drawer system. Decked.com/drinkinbros. Keep all your shit safe and secure. Next up, John McAfee's widow releases his suicide note. Now, I was on air because I missed this. And I wish I knew what it was. What does the note say?
I haven't looked at it yet, actually. But
this just came out.
Yeah, I mean, look,
pop it up on screen, Bob.
We know that he was floating like conspiracy theory bullshit before he died, and then he got like a schwack tattoo, and it seems like it was just a troll, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Here's the alleged suicide note. I'm just seeing if there's a fucking.
Okay, here it is. I'm reading it. It's on Twitter.
I am a phantom parasite. The present. I can't
put this on screen, Bob.
I can't read this shit. What is it?
The link is actually in the email. Come on, Bob. Wake up. Wake up, Bob.
Did somebody not transcribe this shit? Come on.
No, not yet, dude. If you, that's why I want to put it on screen. It is so fucking weird looking. It looks like a little child. Yeah, pop that up on screen. There you go. I am phantom parasites. It's the presence, momentum thing, trust. This looks identical to what my 6-year-old writes
on graphing paper.
Yes, on graphing paper.
Well, I mean, I doubt he had a whole lot of options in prison.
Well, here's what this looks like to me. He was in prison in Spain. It seems like somebody who's just kind of learning English, where they're like, oh, these words go together and might not be the thing.
So people think this is fake then?
Yes. That is exactly what is happening. And his widow is saying this morning, she goes, look, this does not seem like a fucking dude who was trying to kill himself here. I don't know either way. Is it bizarre? Yeah, because there's a bunch of shit scratched out, but this writing is identical to my 6-year-old's.
Well, I mean, it's probably identical to mine too. I write like a child. My
handwriting's terrible,
Yeah.
but it's at least legible and the words are there. So So I don't know. The other part about this was who got a hold of this and actually put it out.
Well,
like,
I mean,
that's
technically, it's
hers.
Yeah,
I
belongs
guess
to the wife. So I'm sure it was part of the stuff they gave. I don't know how the criminal justice system in Spain operates. I know in like 2006 they elected an entirely socialist government, so they probably aren't operating with a full deck of cards over there. But typically whatever you come in with or whatever you have when you're there goes to your family when you leave.
Right.
When you either get out, it goes to you, or you die and it goes to your family. So I imagine this was just this must have been quite the shock to her. My question is, Miss McAfee, can you produce other handwriting of his? Because I could look at it and tell if it's him or not.
Anyone could, based on that. Based on that fucking letter?
This is so extreme that I'm pretty sure you could look at anything else he's written and tell if it's him or not. I mean, you could see that forensics when it comes to handwriting are pretty good these days.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you put up another letter that he's written.
Yeah, anything. Doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's just like a one sentence.
But she says, look, this note doesn't sound like somebody who has no hope and is contemplating ending their life. She also pointed out that the handwriting was suspect, which we said. Yeah. And the contents of the note more closely resembled someone trying to imitate one of John's tweets. So.
Yeah. Well, maybe. I mean, it does kind of have tiger blood feel to it, doesn't it? Like, I'm a phantom parasite. What the fuck does that mean?
I don't know, man. It's weird. The whole thing is weird, but also is it a huge ruse to be like, hey, dude, we're gonna lean into his life, the Q. Remember the last Q post on Instagram before Instagram deleted it?
No. What was it?
2 hours after he died, someone posted on his verified Instagram account just the letter Q.
Oh yeah. I thought you meant the last one Q made before.
Oh no. Yeah, so all of this plays into that, and it's fine. Like, it's a fun, flirty thing, and like it's a hilarious way out, because even this childlike note, like, great, that feeds into all of his shit. Mm-hmm. It's very Andy Kaufman-ish in a way, where you're like, all right, I guess. I mean, is this real? I don't fucking know.
No. No, we're in a simulation, so it doesn't really matter anyways.
I'm not a fan of this part of the simulation, by the way. I'm not. I want to skip ahead to whatever the next one is.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whoever's controlling it, like, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, this is
simulation-wise.
Yeah.
Simulation-wise. Next up, Ilaria Baldwin isn't a liar. She's just culturally fluid, Dan.
It's like that Korean dude or UK dude or whatever.
Love that guy. Big fan of that guy who had 18 face surgeries. Well worth it, my man. I know you're taking a lot of heat from a lot of people out there. I'm not going to be one of them. I think you look great.
Yeah, just wait.
Yeah.
It'll all come around for you.
Wait till that work settles.
In 10 years, people will be like, I can't believe we didn't give him more fucking respect. Because we'll all be dead by then, probably.
Genderless and dead. Ilaria Baldwin This was something I talked about earlier with Chrissy Teigen, where it was like, can you just not shut the fuck up and stay away from social media?
Oh, no, CNN wrote an article about Chrissy Teigen this week that's just like trying to slowly rehabilitate her image.
Yes, she posted today, and we went over it. Same with this. So in a post on Instagram, Ilaria joined the growing fucking list of fucking attention seekers and announced that she is culturally fluid. Here's the thing about Alec Baldwin. Is he an asshole? Yes. Is he very smart? Yes. I can't imagine he would put up with this bullshit, man.
No, he's always been very sharp-tongued when it came to some of this stuff. Like, if you remember,
dude.
His MSNBC show got canceled because he called someone a toxic queen, and that was considered an anti-gay slur, I guess. I don't fucking know why, because neither one of them are gay.
Yeah.
Like, he could have said gay. Like, what the fuck? But anyways, I have no idea what goes on in his head, to be honest. I mean, he's fucking like 70 years old.
I look up how old Alec Baldwin is, like and I'll read this post by her. She says,
63.
When you are multi, it can feel hard to belong. What? Are we going by multi? Yeah, that's a fucking thing?
Yeah, it was multicultural was too long. So we're going down.
We're just going to abbreviate that shit. All right. You are constantly going back and forth, trying to be more of this, more of that. You feel like you have to explain why you are the way you are, trying to fit into a world of labels. She also went on to say, we need to normalize, I hate that fucking word so much, the fact that we are all unique, our culture, languages, sexual orientations, religions, political beliefs are allowed to be fluid. Apparently not, Ilaria, because you and Alec only wanted Biden. So, I mean, that's not something a multi would say. You know, Ilaria, it's not something a multi. You should be fluid in all of it. So why does any of it matter then?
I'm politically fluid.
Yeah. You
know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Because sometimes I feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't.
This is stupid. Our entire existence is fucking pointless. All of this is fucking pointless. The fact that we wake up every morning and then have some grandiose idea about, hey, we're going to fucking go out and change the world. No, what you're going to do is exchange paper with other people, right, until you die.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's all you do. It's fucking pointless. All this is fucking pointless. And I don't mean that you should go fucking kill yourself because of it. I'm just saying it's all fucking pointless to do what you want.
Yeah.
Right?
What were you going to say, Delco Dan?
Sounds like a T-shirt.
Doesn't it?
I don't know if nihilist T-shirts work because they're not really motivated to buy. You know what I mean?
A big buying market for those guys. Yeah. My other issue with this is like saying you can hardly fucking you feel like it's hard to belong and you're constantly going back and forth. I don't think any part of her is Spanish. Am I retarded? I don't think any part of this woman is Spanish. Bob, is any part of this woman Spanish whatsoever?
Dude, I don't know. She's been to Spain, I guess. You have a layover in another country. You're part of that country. I honestly, the worst part about working here is learning about her. Because I didn't know anything about her. I would have been blissfully ignorant to this, but 2 shows a day cover Alec Baldwin.
It's nuts, isn't it?
It's. I don't care. I just don't care about her.
Well,
one way or the other.
It's not about her. It's about this claim she's making, right?
Yes.
Because it will in the climate we're in right now, it would apply to so many other people, right? So, but this is the line, right? So, gender, for whatever reason, despite all the fucking work that feminists had to do in the first and second wave feminism, right, to get just the ability to fucking vote and drive and shit like that. Eventually turned into all this wacky stuff, and then it turned into that comes second to race. One of the first things that happened in the modern push towards racial justice was that the black community accused white women, especially, of not being intersectional. That's where that word came from. Mm-hmm. Like intersectional fucking feminism is where it originally came from, right? It's feminism for everybody, not just white women. And maybe they were right about that, but now it's ballooned into a case where it is intersectionality as it is evolved today, which is what the Calling of the American Mind and Douglas Murray and the Madness of Crowds talk about, that there's a ranking system, and woman isn't as high as a minority group, provided it's the right one right now. Maybe it changes later, but it's not right now for sure. So people are using this as an example to make fun of her, but in 5 years, who knows, right? Or 5 years ago, what would this have looked like? You know what I mean? Who knows? It's the point of that, again, is that this is all fucking pointless.
Yes.
Now, I don't mean Alec Baldwin or
I do.
any of this stuff. I mean life
in
general.
Yeah.
Why does there need to be a point for it to have value? There's no point to a fucking movie. It's just something you do for 2 hours.
It's entertainment. It's entertainment at the end of the day.
So be entertained, right?
Yeah.
Are you not entertained by life?
No.
For fuck's sake.
No, dude. Clearly she's not. I said earlier that she should start a cooking show called just Canceled Cooking with her and fucking Chrissy Teigen, and the 2 of them together. She can be Spanish. They can cook Spanish food all day long on YouTube, and then sadly, I think like a gajillion people would watch it.
Oh yeah, probably, yeah, for sure.
Just Canceled Cooking. That's it. Now you can just call it multi-canceled.
Multi-cooking, yeah.
Yeah, multi-cooking. That'd be great. You could sell cookbooks on Amazon, shit like that. Mm-hmm. Speaking of Amazon, if you're starting an e-commerce business that taps into Amazon's massive customer base and shipping expertise, take advantage of this incredible offer from Helium 10. Get 50% off your first month of a Helium 10 Platinum account when you go to helium10.com/Drinkin Bros. Dan, you've been a huge advocate of this company forever, dude. That's it. If you're starting a business on Amazon, I think this is like the only way to do it, like the best one, right?
Right. I mean, it's going to, yeah, for sure. Amazon's the biggest retailer you're going to have here domestically, for sure. And think about this before. I mean, back in the day when it was Sears and shit like that, and then when it evolved into fucking big box stores like Walmart, Costco, Target, whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
The barrier to entry to get your product into that environment so people would see it as something they could buy and then easily buy it was not easy.
Right.
Right? You had to go, there was a whole bunch of bullshit you had to go through. You had to convince the goddamn retailer to carry in the first place. And Amazon, provided you're not selling anything illegal or unsafe, you can do whatever the fuck you want. So if you've got an idea, why go out and spend $15,000, $20,000, $50,000 building your own website?
Yeah.
Just use Amazon. Why the fuck would you do all that shit?
That's it. Helium 10 has been used by over 1 million people worldwide, collecting roughly $4 billion in e-commerce sales per month, by the way. That is per month. Start an e-commerce business that taps into Amazon's massive customer base and shipping expertise. Take advantage of this incredible offer from Helium 10. Get 50% off your first month of a Helium 10 Platinum account when you go to helium10.com/Drinkin Bros. That's HELIUM10.com/Drinkin Bros. Don't wait. To get 50% off your first month, go to helium10.com/Drinkin Bros. Next up, D'Anthony. This is my favorite story of the day. Rainbow dildo butt monkey. Yeah.
Interesting.
Now we're getting into the hard-hitting stories.
Yeah, let's talk.
A library in London has been forced to apologize after hosting a performance for children starring a character named Rainbow Dildo Butt Monkey. That's what we wanted to name the show on YouTube. Obviously, they would have pulled this down and never allowed us to return, so we couldn't do that. But this is a real thing. The character in question wears a rainbow-colored costume featuring nipples. Yeah, let me see the image first to see if we can put this up.
It's on. Should be up on the. Yeah.
Let's see it. Let's see it.
I mean,
first.
it looks like
I can zoom in past the dick.
Oh, let's see it first. Zoom in past the tag. Yeah.
Can you put a bar
There
over
you
the
go.
nips?
All right, that's fine.
Nips are fine.
No, it's a man. These are man nipples, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like a Thundercat, to be honest.
That's what I got the vibe.
It's like the gay
for.
Thundercat. Which,
Yeah,
that should have been
Bob.
the gay Thundercat should have been part of the original cast.
There it is. Look at that. Ingest it. Take it all in. Now the penis is fake, by the way. I know we scrolled down, but I don't even think we can show a fake penis on here.
Probably not.
Can we? No, probably not. Probably not. The purpose of the character was obviously teaching children to read and increasing their passion for books. But the local parents were upset with the choice.
So, what extra does that bring to the effort to get children to read? Is there some like? I'm being serious though. Like, is there something that kids are watching somewhere on YouTube or wherever it is that's going to drive their eyeballs and attention? Because it's not. Look, people have been doing fucking milk, the Got Milk campaign to get kids to drink milk. Fucking LeVar Burton with the reading rainbow bullshit. It's been going on for a while to motivate kids to do things that are healthy and fucking make them smarter, right? For forever. What market research produced that bullshit and said, you know what kids will love? A fucking rainbow Thundercat with a big old cock on it, man. Like, where the fuck did this shit come from? Boggles my mind.
Seems like a play by Nambla.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Look, I have children. That is not going to make them read. If anything, it's going to fucking make them run away from the goddamn libraries inside the schools. Like, I don't understand that. I don't even understand how that was passed. Like in a pitch meeting where you're like, hey, dude, this is what we're going to do to get kids reading. It had to have been approved by a group of people, some form of board, one would imagine.
Something. Yeah.
That's not going to do it, man.
Somebody said yes. And anytime you see anything in public, right?
Yeah.
Something that came from a company. Yep. Just remember that somebody said yes to that. Like, don't let them get away with, oh, this is just an employee, rogue employee. No. Like, this went through a lot of levels of shit, and somebody said yes.
This is absolutely.
I guess better it's better phrased as no one said no.
Yeah.
Like at no point did this make someone say, you know what, man, this, like the nips are pretty dope, but that cock is huge. Like, can we at least go with something like David, like smaller?
Is this a new like Jack Mandeville character, like just a screaming naked clown that tries to get kids to read?
I think so.
It might be. I mean, it's like, God, what was it? Gary the No Trash Cougar from Family Guy.
Yeah.
Like Peter has a cat costume on and he's patrolling a fucking elementary school with a handgun or something
Yeah.
Pick up the trash. Pow, pow, pow. Gary the No Trash Cougar.
Don't be a garbage. Take out your garbage.
Yeah.
There it is. Proud of you.
You know.
Proud of you, Giorgio. That's your contribution for today, man. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Old references. Always here for it.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Last story of the day here is the NFL plans to ramp up its woke bullshit in 2021. They'll be adding the Black National Anthem during Week 1. They're also going to promote social justice messaging. Makes you wonder about all the conservatives in the NFL and how they'll react and how fans will react. And man, so this story in particular, I asked some friends of mine who are black, African American, if you will. They don't even give a shit about that. They're like, I'm black, dude. I don't give a shit. I said, have you ever heard this before? And they said, never. I've never heard this or whatever. Cut to, this is a real story. They were going to do it on some like 4th of July special, right? Well, we had this function in the neighborhood and people were over and they were getting ready to sing the national anthem, but they were like, but first, Vanessa Williams is going to sing this thing, right? And so she starts singing it, and I was like, oh, fuck, because of how much news we read for all of these shows. I go, does anybody know what this is? I was at a huge party with black and white people, and they go, no, what the fuck is this? And I was like, this is the Black National Anthem. No one fucking knew what this was. No one. So now this is going to become a thing, and like, I'm going to be real, because I asked my black friends, I was like, hey, dude, am I missing something? Were black people singing a different song all along and we just didn't know about it? No one had any fucking clue, by the way.
I've never heard of it, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything. It's the song is called "Lift Every Voice and Sing."
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So who wrote it?
I don't know.
Is what I'm looking up now. "Lift Every Voice and Sing." It was written in 1900 by James Weldon Johnson, who is a writer and civil rights activist. He was the first African American. Hold on a sec.
I've never fucking. So I look at this party, dude. There was like 50 people.
He was the first executive secretary of the NAACP. But that's good history. But I've never heard of this, and I also don't look. Division is not the solution ever to any of this stuff, and the idea that we should have a separate black national anthem is absolutely ludicrous.
Yes.
Sorry. I mean, that's fucking nonsense. If you want to fucking work and change the country to something that is more equitable for you and your people, I'm absolutely fine with that. That should be a good goal for everybody to have. It should be a goal for everybody to make the country as equitable for everybody as possible. But having your own separate national anthem, what are you going to have your own flag too? I mean, that doesn't make any fucking sense.
Well, you have your own network.
Yeah, but that's not the
everything.
same though. That's entertainment. I'm talking about what represents our country. Like when they go to the Olympics, if a black person wins in the Olympics, are they going to ask for that anthem instead of the actual U.S. anthem? You know what I mean? That doesn't make any fucking sense.
I don't know. Like, because that's a great point. Because we're about to come up on the Olympics now, right? Mm-hmm. When was the national anthem? How long ago was that, Bob?
So it was obviously written during the War of 1812. However,
what do you mean obviously? Why would it be obvious?
Yeah, why is that obvious?
The War of 1812. You fucking.
Why the fuck is that obvious?
You don't know the history of it? Am I the only one that knows the fucking history?
Go
of
ahead.
The Star Spangled Banner.
Go ahead, Bob. Francis Scott Key.
Yeah.
Go.
It was during in Baltimore. I forget the name of the fort. Fort whatever.
Meade.
Yeah. Well, you should know it, Bob, because that's fucking history.
Oh, it's McHenry.
McHenry. Yeah. Anyway, it didn't become the national anthem because we didn't have any national anthem until the mid 1930s. I want to say Roosevelt, FDR made it the national anthem.
Okay.
There was a magazine article actually that was like, "Did you know that America doesn't have a national anthem?" And pre-Twitter, everyone was like, "What the fuck?" and like wrote into the president.
So FDR, right?
Yeah,
you
so
used to be able to do that.
All right,
Look,
so great. Now that we know the timeline, Dan was saying this was the black national anthem was in 1900. Why wasn't that the national anthem? If we didn't have one, why was there any national anthem?
We were still pretty heavily into Jim Crow stuff. I'm not sure black people necessarily had the ability to make their own to interject into that conversation.
But totally. But where was it? Where was it all these years? I guess.
I don't know. I mean, look, I grew up in black neighborhood in South Carolina. I've never heard it before. I've never heard it even mentioned, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's just something somebody reached back for, and look, there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. If you're trying to take something from history and make it something that's meaningful to you today, that's what everybody does with history, always. So that's fine. My problem's not that. My problem is the goddamn division. You don't split things up like that. Can't.
Me neither. And the more and more you keep doing it, the more and more it's going to divide us. And that's my problem with all of this fucking bullshit is like, it's just to create division. Then you're going to be like Ilaria, where you start inventing words for what the fuck you want to be in this life, a multi. And then you're going to fucking hop on down the bunny trail to the plastic surgeon and get 18 plastic surgeries and identify as Korean, which we did on another episode here. Me personally, we're just all fucked. We are all fucked, and we're all done with it. We're all done with it. Drinking Bros of the Week. There's two that I personally want to give, and then we also have one in studio here. Look, Dan and I have said this a million times on the show, and we'll keep reiterating it over and over and over again. The reason why we love this community so much, and we call our listeners the community, is because everyone helps each other out. And there's a thing, because we were talking about jobs earlier. There's a group called Drinkin Bros Jobs, which is a private group on Facebook. And you can hire other Drinkin Bros to do things. Obviously, you know the fucking problems I was going through with the goddamn pool. I want to tell you this. Reached out to Drinkin Bros Jobs, posted it. Lloyd Burke hit me up and was like, "Hey, dude, got you on this. I can help you fucking coordinate everything and talk to contractors, everything else." Another Drinkin Bro reached out and said, "Hey, dude, I can get you all the equipment or whatever and ship it in from South Carolina. All the bullshit they're feeding you and everybody else is feeding you in the media about shortages doesn't exist, and I can get this in fucking 3 days." He did. So I'm going to shout him out as well. Dave Wilkin, Aqua Stay Clean Pools, and this is in South Carolina, Dan. South Carolina.
It's 16-hour drive, probably, something like that,
Yeah.
depending on where in the state he is.
But all he did was make a fucking call. He got it shipped in, and we pay for everything, dude. The whole thing turned out to be a fucking 4-day job. It's done. That's it. Done. Exact same price everybody said it was going to be. Drinkin Bros are fucking great, man. If you're a listener out there, I hire within, for Christ's sakes, because it's easier. We've never had any fucking issues. I'll shout out this guy's website, Dave, because I appreciate it, man. This is crazy. It was so fast. But here it's like, well, that's going to be another fucking 8 to 12 weeks, like it was fucking Groundhog's Day. www.aquastayclean.com, and that is AQUASTACLEAN.com. And they're on Facebook and Instagram. Thank you, Dave. And we always pay. We always pay cash. We don't take any fucking bro rates here because we want you guys to succeed. Small businesses, as we were talking about earlier, help each other out. It is a great way. You guys have never let us down or anybody else. And huge shout out to you guys. You're amazing. And then we always say if you're in town, you can stop by the studio. Who do we got in studio today? Come on up, friend. Come on up. When he walked up the stairs, D'Anthony,
Yeah.
looked like Remy from Higher Learning, and I was worried for a second.
Oh, yeah, you may get murdered.
Yeah. Come on in, dude. You'll see what I'm talking about in a second. Everybody's watching on YouTube. There it is. Yeah. So I thought for sure, little Antifa, and you were going to kill me and
of course.
put the
Like,
microphone
why
up
would
to
you
your
not think that?
put the microphone up to your mouth. There you go.
There you go.
Perfect, man. Tell everybody your name.
Chuck Leach.
Chuck Leach. What's up, Chuck?
Just came into the studio to hang out, and apparently I'm a drinking every week now.
Oh, you got rocked today, didn't you?
He's been
Little
drinking
bit.
fucking
Yeah,
JMO.
I've been drinking a little bit.
He's been
I
fucking.
figured drinking bros, let's drink.
Yeah.
Let's get rocked
here
for
we
sure.
are.
That's what it's for. That's what the fucking show is. You came in on a day. I've got to pick up my 2-year-old today, and you're like, dude, let's drink some Jameson. I was like, fuck, man.
Cannot do.
I've got a little bit, just a little cansies
Oh, yeah.
for the people.
But
You
can't
took
drink
full
when you're
advantage
driving
and just got rocked today.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love
My
it.
day off.
Day off. Fuck
hang
yeah,
out.
dude.
Fuck yeah.
What do you think of all this shit?
It's a lot different than I thought it was going to be in the studio. I thought the studio was a whole lot bigger, but it's an octagon and everything's all in the same place. It's fucking
You
fantastic.
think it's really? This place is huge.
Yeah, it's very big, but it's also not. It's a smaller than I thought it was. I thought everything. Oh,
There you go.
my bad. I thought everything was a lot bigger. I thought every scene or every set was in a separate room.
Oh no. Yeah,
And
yeah.
not at all.
Yeah. No. So we've got
It's
what?
big and small at the same time. Ross.
Yeah. Well, it's because this is huge in here, and then we've got what, 1 upstairs, 2 in the back. We got about 7 sets total here.
Exactly.
About
And I thought it was-
4,500, 5,000 square feet of this place. But yeah.
Yeah, and I thought every single set was in a different room, but
Oh
it's not
This-
not
no,
the case.
that would be too much.
The
Too
studio
much.
is a grower, not a shower.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's
Just like me.
It's pretty fucking big. Hey, there it is. You got a small dick,
No, not at all. But
but
grower,
before it
not
gets
a
hard.
shower.
Before it gets hard, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right. You got a lady out there?
Not at the moment.
Anybody you want to shout out?
My mom, obviously, absolutely. Like, my dad's a piece of shit. My
Okay.
mom raised me full on, and she's a great woman. And without her, I'd be nothing. So
That's
I wanna
awesome.
Shout out my mom.
That's awesome. And where are you working at? So people can come in and
Paul
visit.
Martin's.
Okay, Paul Martin's.
Yeah, in the Domain.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
How are those steaks there? Be honest.
The filet mignon's amazing.
Okay.
The ribeye is really good, and also the fried chicken and the brick. What the fuck is it called? I just started, so it's the brick house chicken.
Okay.
Also very good. It's basically, originally it was like made by putting bricks on top of the chicken to flatten it out.
Yeah.
But now we use a frying pan because that's unsanitary to use brick.
Really?
Yeah.
Look at that.
Can't use bricks because there's too much porousness and it houses bacteria too much.
That's right. You'll get salmonella.
Exactly.
And that shit, so-
Can't do that.
No, can't do that
send
at all.
people home with salmonella.
Well, I hope you had fun. It looks like you did. It sounds like you
Definitely
did.
had a lot of fun. Yeah, I can't even speak straight, so it's been fantastic.
I love it, dude. Thanks for being here today. We greatly appreciate it.
appreciate you guys.
And thank you, everybody at home who watches on YouTube and goes to iTunes and leave a 5-star and a review. If you don't do that, then I'm not thanking you. Just go to iTunes, rate the show a 5-star, and leave a quick review. For Dan Hollaway, I am Ross Patterson. This is Drinkin' Bros Fake News. Good night, everyone.